We're going to talk about maintenance key performance indicators, also known as KPIs, in this video. Before I show examples, I want to mention that it's very important for you to make sure there's consistent processes associated with the collection of data. One of the failures of a lot of system processes is the ability to track data on a consistent basis. In other words, how are you tracking downtime? Is everybody reporting it the same way? Are they putting their time against it and recording it as downtime? There's all sorts of processes related issues that need to be tied to KPIs, and you'll constantly have to review the data. It's one thing to collect information in a system, but more importantly, when you're tracking it, you need to review it because there will be things like normal human error which causes inconsistencies. There needs to be an ongoing management of quality of data and consistency of data related to whatever you're going to track. The value of KPIs come in review the planning and the action that you take on them. They are useful if you don't do something with it. Just collecting the data by itself, not managing the quality of the input, the managing of the source, the process associated with it, will yield no benefit whatsoever. The key performance indicators is getting data that is high quality, significant, and has a meaning to your organization. I'm going to give you two examples with clients that we've worked with in the past. So our VP of business, Harry Cohol, worked with the municipality where hot cold calls were the number one maintenance call for service. And they measured the number of hot calls and the cost of them. But then, more importantly, one of the things that they began to analyze was the fact that people had heaters in certain areas and some people had refrigerators in other areas and other things plugged in that weren't even technically authorized. Based on the constant data review, they started to develop policies, and those policies started to save them money. He also had a client in healthcare, which also wanted to measure how many times they had a hot-cold call in a particular room. Well, the first time the technician went in and assumed that it might be a thermostat problem. So they replaced the controls on the wall for $75 and assumed the problem was fixed. The next time they got a hot-cold call from the room, it was critical that the next technician realized that somebody did the replacement for the thermostat. But in this particular case, they had no system in place. So the technician that was next went in and replaced the thermostat. And then they got another hot-cold call and they replaced the thermostat again. And this happened 5 times in the same room at $75 a thermostat. And it wasn't even the thermostat at all. KPIs gives you an overall insight that could not only save you money, but also increases production or, in some facilities, productivity. I'm going to go into the examples now. I'm not going to show you everything. Proteus MMX has so many different KPIs, but we're going to go through the general maintenance KPIs that you could find when you search for them. There's going to be a link at the end or at the comment box. Just click on that to download these examples or to schedule a meeting, and then we can work with you to show you the different ones personalized to your industry. Let's talk about different reports and dashboards. Everybody wants to see things summarized, so that's easy to review. And of course, Proteus MMX, like mentioned, has a significant number of KPIs relating to the system. We have things like how many preventive versus demand maintenance do I do, and how many PMs are on time and completed, and how many are overdue. It's like saying, I know everybody finishes all of their PMs in time, and it's never a problem. But in reality, we know for a fact that we have many, many clients that don't even have enough resources to get all their PMs done in a time frame that they're scheduled. And again, it's a metric that you want to look at and evaluate. Why are you doing the preventive maintenance you just did? Does it keep the system up and running more effectively? If you don't do the PMs, if you do run into failure, what would happen? What is the cost associated with that? There's different costs and different effects associated with different pieces of equipment. So one of the things that I'm going to mention too is safety. And safety is absolutely critical, regardless of the industry that you're in. And to be able to measure regulatory compliance, in other words, if you're in a warehouse business or you're in production business and you've got some shipping docks. Have you checked the docks daily? Do they do it on a weekly, a monthly, or quarterly maintenance on those dock logs? Or are you ensured that you actually have a contractor focusing on that work? Do you have reports associated with that work attached to your work order so that you can show somebody did it? Should there be an issue that in fact issue has been taken care of, can you show it? Reports and dashboards are absolutely a critical part, and they form part of KPI indicators, and not a lot of people think of them in that sense, but they do. One of the most critical is looking at asset by downtime. We've got clients that look at this in bar charts or line charts, whatever works best for them, but how you look at it is very personalized. But the number one thing in the system allows you to identify critical assets that could affect the entire production line. Something's not going out the door, so you identify that as a critical asset. Demand and preventive maintenance hours by month. We can break that down further by technician and machine, work type facility, different facilities, and so forth. But where is your team spending their time? 80% on preventive maintenance and 20% on break fix, or is it the other way around? A lot of times when we start with clients, it's the other way around. 85% of their work is break fix work, and the goal is to turn that into preventive maintenance, which is more effective and takes less time. Mean time between failure. This is the average time that equipment operates between breakdowns and stoppages, and helps maintenance managers understand the availability of their equipment. The higher the time between failure, the more reliable a piece of equipment. This is a crucial maintenance metric to measure performance, safety, and equipment design. Mean time between failure is calculated by taking the total time of a piece of equipment is running, so the uptime of it, and dividing it by a number of breakdowns that occurred over the same period. Mean time to repair is a metric used by maintenance departments to measure the average time needed to determine the cause of and fix failed equipment. It shows how quickly the maintenance team can respond to and repair unplanned breakdowns. It's really a good baseline to figure out how to increase efficiencies and limit downtime, which overall saves you money on the bottom line. Work order KPI shows maintenance work that is approved. Work requests can be submitted to maintenance people or the department by clients or people within the company. It all depends on the type of business, industry, and facilities being managed. So, for example, if you're in a manufacturing company and you have the service request modules on a CMMS like Proteus MMX, and there's issues identified by walkthroughs, you can submit a service request that gets approved and it will show in real time. Now, as work orders are opened and closed, management can see exactly what's happening. The ability to see work order status like overdue, scheduled, open, or closed is something that is critical in knowing where your resources are and where they're being planned. Talking about resources, work order costs. All costs are absolutely critical. We know that. So you want to look at what the work order costs. What does it cost to maintain a particular piece of equipment? Is that particular piece of equipment costing more to repair and maintain than it would to buy a new piece of equipment? This is not typically in manufacturing, but it's very often in facilities. Total hours by trade. You can look at the total hours by trade or skill. In other words, the work or work type. How is your team spending their time? Are they spending it on escorting people through a factory? Are they spending it on maintenance? Are they spending it on mechanical issues? Looking at the percentage of how the total hours are spent within your organization can help you manage your resources more effectively. Root cause failure. This is the last example I'm going to give you. These are, again, the basic KPIs for maintenance. Root cause failure is, some of our clients absolutely require this. and it relates to their business or to your industry. It's very personalized to organizations' need. But a few examples that I can give that's also shown in this graph is electoral, missing, or even error issues, all depending on the cause you create when you're setting up your system. Another example would be when you actually set this up is if you constantly see when you look at the root cause failure that you're having error issues, it can indicate that there's something wrong with the HVAC or something else, which allows you to investigate it further. But if you don't know what the root cause is, how do you identify to fix it that actually is going to cost you money? So again, all the screens that are actually showing in this presentation, this video, is product screenshots from Proteus MMX. We did not cover all our KPIs and could show you how these KPIs would work in a personalized demo customized to your industry. We can also offer you consultation services. It doesn't matter if you have a CMMS in place. If not, if you're looking at something, have a chat with us. We're very open to helping customers, non-customers, people that are just looking for information. Sorry. So there's going to be a link below in that you can just click to download this document that would actually show these samples. You can also use one of the links to just schedule a CMMS consultation or personalized demo, that what would we call them, and you can just specify that you want to talk about the KPIs if that's something you want to do. Or you can just send us an email at sales@eaglecmms.com.